What's up guys, this is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be doing a quick video talking about bore axis and how it relates to perceived recoil of the gun. We're going to be talking about pistols today, and I've got a couple examples laid out on the table. I've got some 380s, some small frame 380s. I got a 22 here. I have a short 9mm, long 9mm, a short 9mm, long 9mm, and the CZ. So the first thing I want to address right away is the title of the video. Does low bore axis mean low recoil? No, it doesn't. If you get the lowest bore axis pistol in the world, is that going to be the lowest recoiling pistol in the world? It could be, but more likely it wouldn't, because there is a lot of other factors besides low bore axis that contributes to lower recoil. Alright, so first let's talk about what bore axis is. The bore axis on a pistol is the relation of the bore to where you hold your hand, okay? So the bore is up here. This is where the center line of the recoil is going to come from, okay? And this is where your hand is. Your hand's lower on the pistol. So the recoil naturally drives the pistol up. If your hand was up here, it would drive it straight back. If your hand was up here, it'd probably drive it down with gravity. So the idea behind lower bore axis means lower recoil is that the higher you can get up on the gun, the more you can control that muzzle flip. Now that is true, but it's not the only thing that contributes to recoil. And I don't want to get into it all because I'm going to do a different video about how to lower the recoil of your pistol. But a couple of things besides bore axis that you need to consider. Number one is the weight of the pistol itself. This is a CZ Shadow. It's an Accu Shadow to be specific, but it is a big hefty gun. It's about a 42-ounce gun, so it's going to be about twice as heavy as most of the other guns you see on the table. That weight in itself soaks up a lot of the recoil. The most important weight that you're going to have on your gun to soak up perceived recoil, which is generally actually muzzle flip, is going to be on the end of the pistol. Adding a light or maybe a heavier guide rod, those things help a little bit to lower the recoil of the perceived recoil of the pistol, because what most people consider recoil is actually muzzle flip. So the more weight you put on the front of the gun, like this M&P Pro versus this regular M&P, the more weight that cartridge is going to have to contend with to flip the muzzle up. So the more weight out front, the less muzzle flip you're going to have. Another thing that contributes to it is your grip. Your stance, your grip, and your posture. So your grip, if you're gripping tight enough on the gun, the texture to hold onto the gun to really tighten that thing down and push it out. Your stance, the ability to put your body behind that gun and kind of lean into it a little bit. And your posture, how you're standing and how the recoil affects you to the ground. All those play a factor as well. Another big contributor to recoil that I probably should have said first, but I'm going to say it right now, is the caliber of your handgun. 380 in the equivalent pistol is going to have less recoil than a 9. 9 is going to have less recoil than a 40. 40 is going to have, well, more recoil than a 45. Then one of the reasons for that is because that 40 is moving a lot faster than that 45. So one thing to consider is bullet weight as well. Not just caliber, but bullet weight. So 147 grain 9mm is going to have less perceived recoil than 115 grain 9mm. Now I'm not a ballistics expert, but I can tell you from my personal experience, I shoot 147 grain Freedom munitions in competition, and that's a bigger bullet, but it's a slower moving cartridge. It's moving about 890 feet per second, as opposed to the 115 grain bullet that's moving around 1100 feet per second. So in my opinion, the larger, slower moving bullet is going to have less recoil than the smaller, faster moving bullet. Also, the size of the grip is going to be a big deal. We talked about that previously. This SIG is going to have a little bit less recoil than this Glock in its current configuration because it has more space on the grip for you to really wrench down on that thing and hold it in place. Those are just a couple of other things that contribute to perceived recoil. A lot of those things are stance. You can really work those things out. And, you know, there's proofs in the pudding. You know, I can shoot this G42, which is a very small, fairly snappy gun, considerably faster than a lot of my friends can shoot my CZ, which is the lowest recoiling gun that I own. So a lot of it's stance, a lot of it's practice. you'll get used to it. But as far as perceived recoil goes, the biggest contributors besides bore axis, I would consider caliber, the weight of the gun, your stance, your grip, and all-around feel of the gun more than I would concern myself with bore axis. A lot of people like the lower recoiling M&P more than they like the Glock because the grip of the M&P feels more comfortable to them. The M&P is also a little bit heavier, but as you can see there, a lot of the claims that the M&P has a lower bore axis than the Glock I think is a little ridiculous. I mean, if you see them right up close to each other, they are about the same. So if you consider this as a really low bore axis, and you consider this CZ to have a significantly higher bore axis, there has to be a lot of other things in play for this to have a considerably lower recoil than this Glock. And believe me, it does. It's about half the recoil of this. For one, it's twice the weight. A lot of people say the internally ran slide rails take a part in it. I don't know about that. Some of it is the weight of the slide reciprocating. Some of it is the springs that it has inside it, and some of it is the much fuller and wider grip, so it fills your hand and you're able to really wrench down on it. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please leave them below. I have a tendency to forget things, and I certainly don't know everything, so let me know what I forgot, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you like the video. I have another video coming out shortly that hopefully I'm going to film today about how to reduce the recoil of your pistol, even though I added most of that information in to this video for some reason. But hopefully I'll film that. Thanks guys for watching.